Thanks for taking my call. I own and operate an electronic security system company here in DFW. We serve residential and commercial clients. We have 6 team members, and including myself, and we did 935,000 top line last year.
Good for you.
Thank you. Following your principles, we've got that emergency fund finally fully funded, so feel good about that, and just looking to, I know the point of it is to be there in case of emergencies, but I would also like to maximize the return on it as best as possible. So I was recently kind of debating whether to do a money market account or invest it a little bit more aggressively, and wanted to get your opinion.
How much is in it?
Roughly 100,000.
Okay, good. All right. There's 3 things you can do that you can consider. Just simply moving some of it into a high-yield savings account, which as of this taping is not really high yield, it's more low yield.
Yeah.
You're making 3% or something on it, and that's better than sitting in checking, and so you can do that. The second thing you can do is you could decide, all right, I'm willing to take a risk with some of this money and just move some of it into like an S&P 500 index fund. And there's nothing wrong with doing that too. I've done some of that. But the thing is, it can go down and it can go up. So, if you got 50,000 in there and the S&P goes down 10%, you lost $5,000, it doesn't kill you. Okay.
Right.
But the S&P, in 2023, the S&P went up 26%, and in 24 it went up 23%. So if you'd had that money sitting over there, you'd have made some good money on it in those 2 years. In 25, we've had some issues with Trump tariffs and other things that the S&P's gone a little bit bonkers, and you could have lost money. But you wouldn't have lost a lot. It would have been 5 or 10% or something, but it wouldn't have killed you. But you're letting some of that kind of ride the roller coaster in order, and the trade-off of the roller coaster is you might make 10, 15% on your money instead of 3. So you might make $5,000 instead of $300, or something, right?
Yeah,
on that $50,000. So that's the trade-off, and I've done some of that. And if I quantify the actual risk, like, okay, if the $50,000 goes in half, which wouldn't ever do, that's like a horrible scenario, I'm still okay. It's not ideal, but I'm still okay. So I don't have to freak out. It didn't put me out of business. It didn't put us at risk. We don't have the whole thing in there. We've got half of it in there, that kind of thing. So that's the way we played that through. The third thing we've done, and actually we do some of what I just talked about, and we also do a float. And talk to your banker. You'll be talking at your stage. You ought to be able to talk to the private banking area and not just the teller window, and say, we want to look at something like a European float where you're moving the money out of your account. They move your money out by computer, by algorithm every night, and it rides a European float or something else. And, you can probably get 6% on it then, something like that.
Okay.
But there's little to no risk on that. And it's basically, it's a weird little formula that they pretend like all the money went out of your account at 5 p.m. It didn't actually. And they run the calculation as if it's sitting on someone else's books until 5 a.m. And it's an overnight float. And so, or you can do it a little bit longer if you want to do that. But the private banker ought to be able to describe that to you without, and what risks there are. It should be minimal risk, but it's a little bit better rate of return than a simple high-yield savings account, and it's nowhere near the risk nor the return that the mutual fund idea or the index fund idea that I laid out there. So, we're sitting at the stage now that we've got tens of millions in retained earnings, and so I'm doing both of those things. So I've got a chunk of it over riding the market, because I can afford to do that, and I got a chunk of it and I got most of it on that float. I don't have any in high yield savings, well, virtually any, and percentage-wise. So just the further you get into it, the more money's involved, the more risk you can afford to take without being crazy, without putting the business at risk or the concept of retained earnings at risk. So very, very, very good question. I'm proud of you, man. $1 million. Well done. You did it. You got $1 million business. Isn't America great? I mean, the free enterprise system, man, it's just awesome. Very cool stuff.